Okay, so good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the new unit, that is lecture 1. So those who don't know me, you can see like my name is Pratik Das, and I am taking your chemistry class. It's been like one unit I have completed for you, that is solution unit, and now we are going to a very interesting unit, that is electrochemistry. Okay, so let's start with the content thing. What are the contents present in this unit? So see, this unit is not like a very big also. Okay, the unit is like a pretty simple unit, but the thing is that it is also a physical chemistry unit, so that's why a lot of formulae and lot of equations we have to like remember. Okay, after remembering that formula and equations, we can solve any type of question from electrochemistry. Okay, so yeah, good afternoon, Arjun. So like most of the people think this electrochemistry is little difficult, but not like that. Okay, this is like very easy and very interesting part. But the thing is that you have to like understand this unit. Okay, if you try to like by heart all the things like definition, this regions, then it will difficult to like understand this electrochemistry. Okay, the thing is that here you have to understand. Okay, means what is happening. Okay, in any place if you're not understanding, if I am like, I will like obviously try to like tell you everything, and whenever you are getting any small doubt also, like a very like I can say like a very small doubt, like a childish doubt also, you can like ask me in the chat, no issue. Okay, no issue for that. Okay, so in this unit the thing is that we'll start with we will start with some of the introduction of redox reactions, because like this redox reaction part is really important. Okay, and some basic definition which will used in your electrochemistry unit. So I can write, we'll start with this thing, basic definition and this redox reaction concepts. Then I will go to electrochemical cell. This is like very important part. If you understand electrochemical cell, then like your half of the part is completed. Okay, this electrochemical cell have different types, we'll discuss it in the next class also. Third is like we are going to discuss about your Nernst equation. There is a equation which will derive from using this electrochemical cell concept. Okay, yeah, Daniel cell will come under this electrochemical cell. That is one of the example of galvanic cell, we'll discuss about that. Okay, yeah, Arun, like I know, but like most of the redox reaction is present in your class 11th also, but I think some people like forget about that. That's why we'll just do a introduction on this redox reaction and some of the basic concept of this electrochemistry. Okay, Nernst equation, then we'll discuss about your conductance. Okay, conductance, then we'll discuss about Folger's law, and after that we'll discuss about Faraday law of electrolysis, and after that the last part is different examples of battery. We'll discuss about different examples of battery. So you can see like how many parts, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, 7 parts are there mostly. So mostly it will take 8 to 9 classes. Okay, so you can consider in 1 week we are taking 4 classes for a subject, so maybe like in 2 weeks we'll complete all the things. Okay, so that is important. So this part is like this electrochemistry is very much important in terms of your entrance exam. Okay, so with that let's start with a quick warm up. Let's be little warm up, because I think you all have studied redox reaction, so you can answer this question easily. Okay, the third point, Dipti, 1 second. Third point, Nernst equation. Nernst, Nernst. So like I know my like handwriting is not that much good, but this is Nernst equation. Okay, okay, so guys, here is the question. So everyone, like try to solve this. What is the oxidation number of chlorine in Cl2 is? Oxidation number. Acha, Dipti, I will show you again. What is the oxidation number? Okay, I'm launching the poll, guys. You can answer in the poll. What is the oxidation number? Anant correct. Till now I got some wrong answers, but Anant is correct. Manvita correct. Chetan correct. Arjun, it is not correct. Check once. Kirtana correct. Okay. Okay, I'm getting wrong answers, guys. That's why I'm not taking your names. Okay, try to answer. Arjun, check once. Darshan also. Praveen also, check once. Mahesh, check one. Nischita correct. Darshan correct. Sahil, check once. Kriti, it is not correct. Check once. Okay, I'm ending the poll here. And like I got a mix of answers. So you all are like some people are telling like redox reaction we have completed, but you are not giving the correct answer. So you can see for like most of the people are telling option B, 41%. Second is like 30% option B. And this is like 11, this is 19%. Okay, so here actually thing is that it is not difficult, but we have to understand whenever we are taking any neutral compound. See guys, this is a neutral compound. Okay, neutral compound. So if you draw this chlorine, it is like this. Okay, and obviously like they are sharing the electron equally. Okay, so here we can't find any oxidation number. For a neutral compound, the oxidation number will be 0. Okay, for neutral atom, the oxidation number will be 0. I will tell you, like in today's class, I have added this part because it is really important in terms of your electrochemistry. Okay, yeah, Akshay is telling redox reaction is not completed. But Akshay, I think it in Avanti, I think it is not completed. But I think you all have studied now because you all have given the 11th exam already. Your annual exam is completed. So I think you all like have some like basic, like I can say basic knowledge about this redox reaction. Okay. Okay. No issue, Praveen. Like I will tell you. Don't worry. The important part I will cover. This important part of redox reaction will cover in today's class. Okay. So don't worry. So yeah. So just remember, whenever we are taking any neutral compound, its oxidation number will be 0. Okay. So yeah, Niriksha, this is a new chapter, electrochemistry. Okay. So how to find oxidation number? Okay, Karthik will discuss in today's class. I will tell you how to find this oxidation number. Okay. So let's move to next part. And next part you can see next question again. This is also about oxidation. Okay. So oxidation of an element is defined as, you all have 1 minute. Oxidation of an element is defined as, correct Swarup, Dipti. Okay, I am launching the poll again. Answer in the poll. Okay, most of the people are giving correct answer. Sanjay, Prakash, Niriksha, it is not correct. Check once, you'll get the idea. Kriti, correct. Darshan, it is not correct. Arjun, check once. Kirtana, correct. Nischit, correct. Karthik, it is not correct. Anand, correct. Yasaswini, correct. Dixit, check once. Charan, check once. Chetan, Sasank, correct. Mahesh, check once. Srinidhi, correct. Darshan, correct. Mahesh, correct. Susmita, correct. Sahil, check once. Praveen, check once. Acha, Praveen, another Praveen has given the answer correctly. Arjun also correct. Okay. Okay, I'm ending the poll here. Girish, just check once. I think your answer is wrong. Dhanya Sri, correct. Okay, so you can see like 60% people are telling option A is correct. And it is correct also. Oxidation of an element. So I think you all have studied in class 10 that whenever like there are like a lot of process whenever we are like adding oxygen. Okay, adding oxygen. Adding oxygen means definitely oxidation will increase. Similarly, another is like losing of electron. Losing of electron. Okay, so if you lose electron, then oxidation will happen. Okay, and another point we can say increase in oxidation number. If oxidation number is increasing, okay, I use the third one only. I just see which in which case oxidation number is increasing. In that case, I can say oxidation is happening. Okay, so these are like the three parameters to remember that in which case oxidation of element is happening. Yeah, Arjun, another also you can add, like Arjun is telling me good idea, that you can remove hydrogen also. If you are removing hydrogen, in that case also oxidation is happening. Okay, so these are like some ideas which you can remember. Okay, so definitely option A is correct. Okay, so another question, and this is also related to like a redox reaction. So you all have 1 minute, try to answer this. The oxidized and reduced form of a substance together taking part in an oxidation or reduction half reaction is known as. Correct, Karthik. Correct, Arjun. So okay, I'm like launching the poll. Praveen, Susmita, Jayashree, Sanjay, Sasank, Mahesh, Anant, correct. Yes, Aswini, correct. Okay, I got only 21 replies out of 80 students. Everyone should reply. Naina, correct. Prakash, you have to check. You have to check. Okay, last 10 seconds, guys. Danyasri, correct. Prakash, it is not correct. Darshan, correct. Raksa, correct. Charan, Niriksha, correct. Okay, so I am ending the poll here. And you can see the result. Great, guys, great. Like 82% people has given the answer correctly. Okay, so very simple. See, obviously both the forms are there now. Oxidizing also happening, reduce form is also there. So definitely it will be redox couple. Okay, if only oxidizing form is there, so we can say like it will be like your reducing agent. Okay, and another will be oxidizing agent, like that we can remember. But here I can give you an example to explain it. Like if you are taking, consider if I am taking Zn2 plus Cu, which is giving us, acha, ulta I have done, because zinc is very reactive na. So I can write it like this: Zn plus Cu2 plus giving Zn2 plus Cu. Okay. So in this case, what is happening? We can say that in this case, Zn2 plus to zinc and Cu2 plus to Cu are, these two things are like the redox couple. Redox couple. Okay. Because you can see zinc is the reduced form. Zn2, you see, you can see here the oxidation number is 0. Here it is 2 plus. Means what? Increase in oxidation number means oxidation is happening for zinc to Zn2 plus. Okay, so definitely Zn is the we can say reduction form, reduced form. This is the oxidized form. Okay, so that's why Zn2 plus and zinc will be one of the redox couple. Similarly for copper, you can see 2 plus to 0. That means what? Decrement. Like you can say decrease, like the oxidation number is decreasing, and whenever the oxidation number is decreasing, that means reduction is happening. So in this case, this will be the oxidized form, this is the reduced form. So that's why Cu2 plus and Cu are also a redox couple. Okay, so these are the concept from your redox reaction, and a lot of concept will discuss in today's class about that also. So see, for electrochemistry, we have to understand little bit thermodynamics also, little bit this redox reaction also. Okay, so we'll start with today's learning objective, and in today's learning objective, we'll start with the application. What is the use of electrochemistry? We'll discuss first. Then after that, we will discuss about processes. What are the different types of processes are there? Then we'll discuss about the basic definitions. What are the basic definitions for this electrochemistry? And we'll do a experiment on battery, because that is important. How actually battery is formed, we'll discuss about that. Okay, so yeah, Deepthi is telling content part, 5th point. 1 2 3 4 5. This is Kohlrausch law. Kohlrausch law. So like you can see, spelling is Kohlrausch. Kohlrausch. Kohlrausch law. Okay, Deepthi. Okay. Okay, so now guys, like before starting today's session, like this is a new unit, so we'll start with a quick motivation, that today's quote is like, difficult doesn't means impossible. Okay, it simply means that you have to work hard. Okay, so guys, like if anything you are feeling difficult, that doesn't mean that it is impossible to complete. Okay, the thing is that you have to do little more hard work. Okay, so the thing is that I know like you all are like facing a lot of difficulties now because you all are in home, and I know that Navodaya people, they can't stay in home and study. Like that is very difficult for them because we feel like whenever we are coming home, we are coming home for holidays and for enjoyment. But the thing is that already it's been like 1 year completed for you, like the class 11th is fully completed in your house. So now the thing is that you all, because I know it is very difficult to study in in home, I can say, because lot of things are going on in home na. Lot of family pressure is also there, and obviously we can't go outside also for the replacement thing. So lot of difficulties are there, but the thing is that in that difficulty also we have to find the solution, like how we can study. Okay, and we have to focus because this is your class 12. Again and again I am telling that this is your class 12, and this class 12th is like very important. Okay, because obviously I can say like the mark, getting mark is not that much important, but the thing is that if you are getting a good mark, you can say na, yeah, like your friends, your relatives, your different peoples, you can say whenever someone asks you how much percent you got, you can say like I got 90% in class 12. Like it is like credit na, like a ornament for you that I get 90% in 12th. Okay, like I got actually in my 12th I got like 82%. Okay, but that is like very less. So if anyone asks me how much you get, so I like don't tell them that 80%, like very less na. We have to like, I am not telling that if you are not getting 90%, that is like not like, that is not the problem also, because this mark is just ornamental, it will not affect your knowledge. Okay, but the thing is that anyone will ask, it is like a credit, you can say like I got 90%. Okay, but you are not getting also, that is not the issue. But the thing is that we have to understand the concepts. Okay, we have to understand what, like if I am teaching, if you are not understanding, then it is like I can say waste, like it is like waste of your time. Okay, so that's why what you have to do, like even if you are feeling anything difficult, try to practice those things like 2 to 3 times, 4 times. Okay, and try to understand the concept. That is important. You have to work hard. Okay, even if you are a intelligent person, even if you are a very talented person in any subject, but if you are not doing hard work, then there is no value. Like definitely you are going to get no marks, and you are like definitely not going to crack the exam. But if you are doing hard work, even if you are not that much intelligent, okay, but you will go like definitely get success because you are doing hard work. Okay, yeah, Jayshree, like don't like worry about class 11th revision and these things, because the thing is that now we have to complete this class 12th part in a good manner. Okay, because I can say one good thing, that in JEE and NEET we don't have to like cover all the things. Okay, you have to be like, if you are good in one part, okay, you have to focus on that part only. Okay, if you are like taking like this means difficult part which you are not understanding, and you are studying that part, then it is like waste of time. Okay, so the thing is that in JEE and NEET, if I talk about JEE, if you are getting like 55 mark in chemistry, 55 mark means, chalo 55 is like very much, I can say. Consider if you are getting 48 also. Okay, 48 means like 12 question you have to solve correctly. It is like, I can say 90 percentile. It is like 90 percentile in JEE. Okay, so if you do little bit more hard work, if you can solve three more question means you are getting more 12 marks, like it will become 60, and 60 mark is like your 97 percentile. So see, if you are getting in chemistry, I'm telling, I don't have any idea of physics and math, but only 60 if you are getting, that is like 97 percentile, and you are definitely going to get an 8. Okay, so the thing is that now we'll focus on this 12th. Okay, and we'll try to understand a simple parts, like we will not leave any of the chapter. Okay, so this will helpful in your class 12 board exam also, and for JEE and NEET also. Okay, so about revision of class 11, we'll do that after the completion of your all the units in class 12. Okay, so guys, if you all are ready for today's class, guys, write yo in the chat if you all are ready. Okay, yeah, Arjun, you can ask now. You can ask. Okay, no issue. You can ask me at the end of the class. Write yo in the chat if you all are ready. Okay, great, guys. Great. I am getting a lot of yo. Chalo, start karte hain aaj ka class. Okay, so we'll start with a discussion. So I told you we are starting with electrochemistry uses. Okay, so Praveen, I think you have clicked on raise hand. If you have doubt, you can ask me on chat, or you can off the raise hand. Okay, so guys, the first thing I am asking you now, I have a question for you guys now. See, I think you all are now in a room, like you are with your mobile or laptop, and ready, like you are listening my class. Okay, so guys, now you can see in your room, just see everywhere in your room and tell me anything which is we are operating using battery, or anything which is using electricity. Tell me some of the gadgets which you are seeing nearby you. Okay, mobile, remote, fan, computer, TV, laptop, fan, light, bulb. Okay, so a lot of things are there. Then fan, TV, fridge. Great, guys. So the thing is that anything, okay, anything which you are using by use of electricity or use of battery, all the things are a quite good example of electrochemistry. Okay, so I can write any gadgets which we are using, any gadgets which are using by use of electricity, is your the application of electrochemistry. Okay, so I have taken a room here. In the picture also you can see, and in this picture also you can see that here light is there. Okay, and you can see laptop is there. A lot of things are there. We can see light, laptop, and even if like we can't see, but mobile will be there definitely. Okay, if TV may be there. Okay, so a lot of things are there which are come under the application of electrochemistry. Okay, so we'll see now some more applications. So first thing I already told you, here you can see a lot of gadgets which are just the application of electrochemistry, because in this we are using battery. Okay, and battery, obviously what it does, it like convert chemical energy to electrical energy. In that case, it is using the application of electrochemistry. Similarly, in medical, in we can say in medicals also, okay, by the doctors also, they use electrochemistry a lot, because you have seen that a lot of your screens are there, ventilator, a lot of things are there in which we are using electricity. Similarly, some people face heart problems, so they do what, to pump the blood, they join a gadget that is known as pacemaker. Okay, and this pacemaker do what, it will pump blood in, like obviously if there is any problem in heart, this pacemaker will help to pump the blood, and this blood will go to everywhere in our body. So this pacemaker contains a battery. Okay, so that means it is also a one type of your application for electrochemistry. Okay, similarly, you can see a lot of things are there: gold plated watch, copper plated mug, silver plated teapot. So electroplating, here actually electroplating is happening by using the process of electrolysis. Okay, so electroplating is also a good application of electrochemistry. Okay, similarly, I know you all have seen now that this uh, means battery cars are coming, battery cars. Okay, and I think you all have listened about Tesla. Correct. Arjun has given the thing Tesla. So Elon Musk, he's doing a lot of, he's using this phenomenon electrochemistry a lot, because I can say, obviously I'm telling battery car, but for this, what actually Elon Musk is using, that is like artificial intelligence, AI. Okay, and in this artificial intelligence, definitely a lot of application of electrochemistry is used. Okay, so the thing is that I think obviously Elon Musk and his scientists, they have gone through this electrochemistry concept quite well, so that's why they can make this AI cars. Okay, so these are like some of the applications. Next we'll move to next point, that is like uh, if I am taking two metals now, okay, you will tell me which one is very much costly between them. So if one metal is like aluminum, okay, and another metal is like gold, okay, and out of this, which is very much costly and why it is costly? Okay, so this I think you all know, this is why like this is costly, but why? Okay, yeah, correct, Arjun. I got a reason. Okay, yeah, correct, Manvita. So definitely correct, Karthik, correct, Nayana, correct, Praveen, Anand. Okay, Anand's answer is very much good as compared to others. Okay, Karthik is telling very demand. That is also a good point we can say. Okay, correct, Sasank, correct, Prakash. So some answer I am getting, some different answers also. But the main reason is that, like most of the people tell the main reason only. The thing is, the first, it is very rare, okay, and another is like difficult to extract, difficult to, yeah, purify also. Like Jayshree is also giving correct thing, that is difficult to extract, difficult to extract and purify, and purify. Okay, and purify. So we can say that's why gold is very costly. Okay, and you can see aluminum. I think aluminum is used in everything. You know, like we take. You all have eaten that chicken roll, egg rolls, paneer rolls. For that we use aluminum foil. Okay, aluminum foil, we use it and throw it. Okay, yeah, utensil, electric wire. Okay, and I think you all have taken that cold drink can, that can we use and we throw it like this. Okay, if you think, if any cold drink can is made up of gold, what you will do? Like you will throw it? Definitely not, na, because like gold can, we can take it and make it jewelry again. Okay, so definitely this aluminum foil can, because aluminum we found in high abundance. Okay, in high abundance we get this aluminum. Okay, so that's why aluminum is very, we can say, less expensive. Like we so, but initially what was happening before 1900, before 1900, okay, before 1900, what was happening, aluminum was also very costly at that time, was very costly as compared to gold also. Okay, in 1900 also aluminum was also costly. Like we can compare aluminum and gold at that time, both cost are like quite relatable at that time. At that time what was happening, aluminum's purifying process was not discovered at that time. Okay, so that's why if we can't obviously its ore is much like it has like a bauxite ore, it comes in bauxite ore, and this bauxite ore is like very much we found in India only. Okay, but the thing is that there was no purification process at that time, so that's why like it was also that time it was very costly. But after the process of electrolysis, after getting the discovery of this process of electrolysis, this aluminum got like the cost decreases a lot due to that, because due to this electrolysis process. Okay, so this electrolysis process is a good application of electrochemistry, application of electrochemistry. So already we have discussed a lot about applications. Okay, so I think this application part you all are clear. So we'll move to the next part, that is processes. Okay, so there are like two processes possible. One is your spontaneous process and another is your non-spontaneous process. So I think you all have studied thermodynamics. In thermodynamics, a lot of things, a lot of laws are explained for this spontaneous and non-spontaneous process. Okay, so I will like first tell you about spontaneous process. Okay, so yeah, correct, Manvita. So I will like I am showing you a picture. You can see the picture, guys. In this picture we can see this is a waterfall. Okay, Sanjay will see like who are the scientists when we'll study law, different laws. I will tell you who are the scientists come in this chapter. Okay, so you can see like waterfall is going on. Okay, now we know that we have seen waterfall where always the water comes from your top to bottom. Is it possible like water will fall from bottom to top? Is it possible, guys? In naturally we have seen that water come from top to bottom, but is it possible it will go from bottom to top? Okay, so like obviously naturally it is not possible. Okay, now guys tell me, is it possible artificially? Can we move water from bottom to top? Yeah, correct, correct. So everyone is giving great idea like how can we do it. So see, first we'll discuss about this spontaneous process where it is coming from top to bottom. Okay, and this top to bottom is happening because it is a natural process. Okay, we don't have to give any force, any pressure, anything. Like we don't have to give any parameter. So that's why we can say it is a natural process. Okay, so it is a natural process. So we know whenever any process is natural. Okay, so can we control it? Can we control a natural process? Can we control a natural process? Okay, Jaisri is telling no. Karthik is telling difficult. Dipti is telling no. Prakash is telling yes, we can control. So like I will tell, it is very difficult to control a natural process. Okay, so you can see anything happening naturally, the wind, we can't control it, na? Or anything like water is like we can give pressure, we can take that water again, we can take it to the top, but we can't stop the waterfall, na? It is difficult. So it is like very random. Okay, the process because it is natural process, so it is uncontrolled, like uncontrollable, or we can write it is very random. It is very random. Okay, and if anything which is very random and which we can't control, in that case your entropy is greater than zero. Entropy is greater than zero, guys. Now I think you all know entropy. If anyone don't know entropy, you can tell, like I will tell you what is entropy. So entropy will be greater than zero for a natural process. Okay, yeah, correct, Arjun. So I think most of the people know. If anyone don't know, you can ask. I will like explain you. I will give one good example also. Okay, so Karthik, again I am repeating, whenever you are taking a natural process, it is uncontrollable. Okay, and because it is uncontrollable, we can't stop it. Okay, and that's why it is very random. We'll get different result for a natural process. Okay, so that's why del S is greater than zero. Okay, so like some people are telling it, they don't know entropy. So, okay, I'm telling you entropy. So let's take an example. Okay, if I am taking, consider what example you can take. Okay, let me take an example. If we have, now the thing is that if we have food, I am taking three foods. Okay, I am taking pizza. Okay, I think you all know pizza. Then if I am taking some, tell me some dish na, pizza and some, tell me, okay, burger. I am like not remembering the names. Okay, idli, correct. Idli is a good. Okay, so now guys, Acha, pasta. Okay, pasta, pane. Now, like for foods, people will tell a lot of answers. So, okay. So now, if we like take calorie, like you will write the calories. Okay. Consider idli is like very light. We know we can eat idli and it is not that much bad for our health. So idli's calorie, consider it as like 80. Okay. Calorie of burger, you can consider it like 120. Okay, and pizza is like 180. Okay, so okay, yeah, Niriksha. Niriksha is giving examples. Okay, so now guys, we can see pizza 180, burger 120, idli 80. Okay, and here a person, a person has to take a calorie of 2000 calorie a day. 2000 calorie a day. Okay, so now to make it 2000. Okay, so can you tell me the possibilities, like how many pizza, how many burger, and how many idli that person should take? Like how many solution will get? How many different solution will get for this 2000 calorie person? How many solutions? Is it like possible to tell only one solution is there? Like we can take this pizza like some 2 3, this idli like this. Okay, like Jayshree is telling we can take 25 idli. Okay, 25 idli. Karthik is telling we can take 5 pizza. Okay, we can take 4 burgers. Okay, okay, lots of possibility are there na. You can see, like you can mix, like you can take pizza something 3. Okay, I'm not like calculating, you'll calculate. You can take like 4 pizza plus 2 burger plus 1 idli, like that. Okay, and you can make it 2000. So there are, we can say, a lot of solutions are there. A lot of solutions are there. Okay, lot of solutions are there, and we can't control this solution. Okay, because like we can take anonymously anything. Okay, so whenever we have a lot of solutions, okay, yeah, probability also you can say. So whenever we have a lot of solution, lot of ideas, and lot of randomness in the answer, randomness, then in that case we can say that entropy means randomness. Okay, and if like the randomness is very much more, because we are getting a lot of different solution, that's why we can say the randomness will be, del S will be greater than 0 in this case. Okay, yeah, correct, Manvita. We can say disorder also, because we can't control it. Like a lot of different solution we are getting. Okay, so that's why in that case entropy, change in entropy will be greater than 0. Okay, but instead of 2000 calorie now, if I will tell like we can take the person is told to take only 90 calories. 90 calories. Okay, in this case also a lot of randomness we can do, because we can do what, we can take a half burger, half pizza. But consider if we can't half it, so we can take one idli. One idli is the answer for this. Okay, correct. If we can't half these things, so one idli will be the answer. So in this case we can say, in this case we can say that definitely del S will be less than 0, because we have only one solution. Okay, yeah, Manmita is giving good example that we can take solid to gas. Okay, if evaporation is happening from solid to it is becoming solid to gas, not liquid to gas na, liquid to gas. Okay, solid to gas it will be sublimation. Okay, so if it is like liquid to gas, okay, so liquid to gas means obviously evaporation, it is happening by itself. So that's why it is like we can't assume what will be the exact evaporation is happening. So that means entropy will be in that case greater than 0. Okay, but if we can assume that this much is happening, then entropy will be less than 0. Is it clear, guys? Entropy, is it clear? So simply you can remember del S means disorder, randomness. Okay, where we can't assume. Okay, if we can assume, then del S is less than 0. Okay, okay, guys. So with that, your entropy part, I think you all clear. So now if entropy is greater than 0, entropy is greater than 0. We know that Gibbs free energy, there is like one energy which is known as Gibbs free energy. It is like the useful work happening in a system. Okay, so this Gibbs free energy will be equal to change in enthalpy del H minus T del S, minus T del S. Okay, now guys, using this formula, we have to find this del G will be positive or negative. So you can see del S is greater than 0. Now you think, if del S is, we are getting a very big value, then what will happen to del G in this case? Del G will increase or decrease if del S is very high. Karthik, del G is your Gibbs free energy, del H is enthalpy, T is temperature, del S is entropy. Karthik, you have to watch again like thermodynamics. Go through thermodynamics once. I will think you will get the idea. Okay. If you not understand, you can ask me later in the WhatsApp, or you can ask me in the class also, next class. Okay. So yeah. So in this case, if del S is greater, this is like mathematical thing. If del S is greater, then definitely del G will be negative, or you can say del G is less than 0. Del G will be less than 0. Okay. So guys, from this, we are getting that whenever we are taking spontaneous process, these two things you have to remember. Del S is greater than 0. Del G is less than 0. Del G is less than 0. Okay. So yeah, correct, Arjun, correct. So these two things you have to remember, and it is a natural process. Okay. So let's move to non-spontaneous now. Non-spontaneous. Okay. So for non-spontaneous, I have taken an example. This is your, for example of a tube well. Okay. I have taken tube well. So in tube well, what we do? Like we give some pressure, we give some force. Okay. After giving some force, your like water is coming out from underground. It is coming. The water is coming out. So here, Praveen, del G is negative. Gibbs free energy is negative when your entropy is positive. Okay, because if entropy is very positive, very much positive, then what will happen? Like you can see the formula del G is equal to del H minus T del S. So it will become very much negative. Nah? Okay. Del G means Dipti, it is like one type of useful work. Del G is your Gibbs free energy, change in Gibbs free energy, and it is the useful work happening in a system, okay. Means if you are taking, we know that W is equal to work, okay, but all the work is not happening in a system. W is the work on the system, okay, work in a system, but work W is like the full work which is happening, but every work is not like important in terms of your this all the processes, okay. So that's why this del G is the useful work which is happening in a system, and it is like helping in these processes. So here similarly, if you're taking now tube well, okay, in tube well what we do, we give some force. So now is like in this case, removing water from underground, is it in our control, or is it is not in our control? Tell me guys. I think you all have seen this tube well now. If you take some bucket to the tube well, okay, and you are giving some force, and we what we do, up to the like completely fill up that bucket, we just give force in that, okay. If like you are not giving the force, then it like the water will not come out, okay. So that's why this is in our control, and whenever anything is in our control, that is like your artificial, it is artificial or man-made process, and because it is in our control, we are getting the result according to us. There is no randomness. That means del S will be less than 0 in this case, and if del S is less than 0, then del G will be greater than 0, okay. Because if del S is less than 0, definitely will get the positive value for del G. So that's why we are getting these two conditions for non-spontaneous process, okay. So this is the difference between spontaneous process and non-spontaneous process. Is it clear, guys? These two process, is it clear? If it is clear, we can move to the definition. We can move to the definition of electrochemistry. So if anyone have any doubt, you can ask me in the chat. Okay. So yeah, G is inversely proportional to S. Yeah, Karthik, we can think like that, but we can see like we are subtracting this S na. So if you are subtracting, okay, so that means if the S will be greater, then definitely G is decreasing, and if S is smaller, then definitely G is increasing. Okay. So now you can see the definition of electro. Like we'll see what is electrochemistry now. Okay. So Anjali is telling once again explain spontaneous process. Okay, Anjali, like I have given you one example of waterfall. Okay, that is a natural process. Okay, in natural process, we can't control the process. If we can control the process, then we'll get a specific result according to us. But here, how much water will fall? We can't like give exact idea about that. So that's why the result is very much random, or we can say the result is very much disorder. We are not getting the exact result which we want. It may be either very much or very less. So that's why in that case, because the we can't control this natural processes, that's why del s, that is the randomness, that is the disorder, is always greater than 0. Okay, and if del s is always greater than 0, you can see the formula del G is equal to del H minus T del S. So definitely in place of del S, if I give a very big positive value, then what will happen? Definitely del G will become negative. And if del G is negative, we can write del G is less than 0. So always in a spontaneous process, del G is negative. Always del G is negative. If del G is like positive, then it will be non-spontaneous. So anytime, whenever you are seeing that del G is negative given, so you will directly write that this is a spontaneous process. This is a natural process. If it is given del G is greater than 0, then directly write it is a non-spontaneous process. Is it clear, Anjali? Is it clear? So this is your spontaneous process. Okay, so next we'll see electrochemistry. Okay, so in electrochemistry, it is given the definition that it is the study of production of electricity from chemical energy which is released during spontaneous chemical reaction, and the use of electrical energy to bring about non-spontaneous chemical transfer. So two conditions are there. It is like it is a branch of chemistry, actually electrochemistry, which is dealing with the study of spontaneous chemical reaction and non-spontaneous chemical reaction. So if you talk about whenever this reaction is happening, like you are taking a reaction, okay, you are doing a reaction, consider like you take A plus B and we are getting AB, okay, without giving any pressure. If it is a naturally happening process, then it is a spontaneous process. Okay, spontaneous process, because we are not giving any energy in this case. Okay, so in this case what will happen with A plus B? If it is forming AB, so here chemical energy will also form, because we are not giving any energy to do this reaction. At the end we are getting energy in this case, and whenever we are getting this chemical energy, we can convert this chemical energy into electrical energy. electrical energy Electrical energy. So you can like think about some spontaneous reactions, like if you take sodium in water, in that case we don't have to give energy. Uh, in that case definitely like this sodium is reacting itself in water, so that will be your spontaneous process. Okay, so that's why A plus B, when it is giving AB, we are getting chemical energy, and whenever your chemical energy is converted, we can convert it into electrical energy. That will be your spontaneous process. Okay, another is like if you are taking now A plus B with some electrical energy, you are giving some electrical energy or any energy, and you are getting the product AB, then in this condition, because we are giving some energy, that's why it is a non-spontaneous process. And because it is a non-spontaneous process, we can say that in this case, electrical energy is converted into chemical energy. Okay, so that's why in non-spontaneous process, your electrical energy will be converted to chemical energy. Just del S does S means spontaneous. No, del S means entropy. Del S means change in entropy. Yes, del S is change in entropy. Okay, so this is the basic definition of electrochemistry. With that, let's move. So here is a question it is asking now. Which of the following conditions are suitable for spontaneous process? Okay, so this is a multiple option correct question. So I am launching the multiple option correct question poll. So maybe 2 or 3 options may be correct in this case. You have to check. For spontaneous process, it is telling. Okay, for spontaneous process. Yeah, Anant, Dixit, Swaroop, Akshay, Arjun, correct. So this is a multiple option correct question. Manvita correct, Sail correct, Susmita, Yasaswini, Prakash. Okay, I am missing some name. You can reply again also. Niriksha, check once your one option is wrong. Kirtana correct. Raksa, Sanjay, Manasi, Srinidhi, Dipti, Karthik. Karthik, you are giving the wrong answer. You are giving the answer for non-spontaneous. Chetan, it is not correct. Priti, correct. Praveen, correct. Chetan, it is not correct. Okay, I'm ending the poll here. And you can see the result. Like most of the people are telling option A and C, 70% and 88%. And obviously, A and C are correct because spontaneous means what? Natural process. Natural means your del S will be greater than 0 because it is uncontrollable. And if del S is greater than 0, then definitely we can say del G will be negative. Okay, so that's why A and C are the correct. Okay. With that, let's move to the some basic definition part. So we'll start with oxidation number. Okay, so now those who don't know what is oxidation number, so you all have to be very attentive. So see, oxidation number definition is given the total number of electron loss or gain by an atom in order to form chemical bond with other atoms. That is your oxidation number. Okay, if any electron is like loss of electron is happening or gain of electron is happening, in that case we are getting a number that is your oxidation number. Okay, acha, poll I have not ended. Okay, yeah, thank you Karthik. So now the thing is that we'll see some examples. You can see oxidation state of neutral atom is equal to 0. You can take any neutral atom like Cl2, O2, H2, any metal like zinc, then iron, then you can take Mg. These are like metals which are having 0. You can see there is no charge. Okay, so that's why these are the condition when oxidation state or your oxidation number is 0. Okay, next is oxidation of charged atom is equal to number of charge on it. So if you are taking Mg2 plus, oxidation number will be 2. Okay, if you are taking Cl minus, then oxidation number will be -1. If you are taking zinc 2 plus, in this case oxidation number will be 2. If you are taking oxygen O2 minus, then oxidation number is -2. So according to the charge which is present in their top, that will be the oxidation number for charged atoms. Okay, so we'll see some before the seeing the question, we can like first understand what is reduction and what is oxidation. Okay, zero Karthik, because you can, I have told you na, that is like neutral atom. Cl2 is neutral atom and they are like dividing the electron like they are sharing the electron completely. Okay, so that's why Cl2 oxidation number will be 0. So which elements are neutral? How can find it neutral? You can see na Prakash. Normal, if you are taking at like the compound like you can see Cl2. Okay, they are like same atom. Okay, and here they don't contain any charge. If any compound you are any molecule you are taking, in which there are like no different atoms, like they are like we can say monoatomic. Okay, monoatomic is like one atom. We can say diatomic, but same atom is there. Okay, if same atom is there, and with that if there is no charge, then it is like a neutral atom. Okay, but if you are taking like HCl, if you are taking HCl now, yeah, correct, Karthik, we can say isoatom. Okay, so HCl if you are taking here, definitely this will be +1 oxidation state, this will be -1, because we can divide it, you can take the negative charge on this. Okay, so that's why we have to take same atom molecule. Okay, so before going to the question, we can see redox reactions condition and oxidation reaction condition. So this already we have discussed that whenever gain of hydrogen or less electronegative atom is happening, similarly loss of hydrogen and less electronegative is happening, that will be oxidation, this will be reduction. Okay, so loss of oxygen, here gain of oxygen will happen. Okay, in this case gain of electron, this is loss of electron. And very good example is like, very most important point is here oxidation number is decreasing, here oxidation number is increasing. Okay, so we can remember this two like line, you can see oil rig, this is a trick to remember reduction and oxygen. OIL, oil means oxidation is loss of electron, oil. Okay, rig means reduction is gain of electron. Oil rig is explaining the trick to remember oxidation and reduction. Okay, so here is a now good question, and let me tell you what it is asking. It is asking us that the oxidation number of chromium, you have to find the oxidation number of chromium in this case, and tell me like using, you know, some of the oxidation number already about like oxygen, then NH4, using those condition you have to find the oxidation number of chromium now. Okay, so I am like, tell me, I want this answer in the chat. You all have 1 minute, try to find it out and tell me what will be the oxidation number of chromium. Karthik, correct. Sanjay, you have to check. Yeah, you forgot 2. It will be divided na. 2 chromium are there na. Chetan, Swarup, correct. Praveen, it is not correct. Dixit, correct. Okay, let me tell you. Let me tell you how to solve this. Guys, now everyone focus how I am finding out. Tell like you can see. Okay. Yeah, Manvita Anand, correct. So see what is happening. We know NH4 already, we know na. This is like NH4 plus na. NH4 plus we already know, and NH4 plus total charge is like +1 for NH4. Okay, so that is like +1. So because 2 NH4 plus is there, so that means what, 2 into +1. Okay, 2 into +1 plus chromium is 2. So if I don't know, I will take the oxidation number of chromium as X, so that is like 2X. Okay, Srinidhi, correct. Raksha, correct. Kirtana, you have to check. Oxygen, you know what is the oxidation number of oxygen, that is -2. Okay, so that means 7 into -2, and you see total charge in the top there is nothing, so that means it will be equal to 0. Okay, now the thing is that it is like 2 plus 2x minus 14 is equal to 0. Yeah, Niriksha, Jayasri, correct. So definitely 2x is equal to plus 12 and x is equal to plus 6 because we have divided 2. So the answer will be plus 6. I think you all understand now. So see, just the thing is that you have to remember some of the parts. Like you can remember if you are taking alkali metal like the group 1 element. I think you all have known like how to remember periodic table. You all have remembered, I think. Nishchita, here you have to remember that NH4 means what? NH4 has total at the end. If you take NH4, okay. So NH4 total charge will be +1. You can do it 1 by 1 also. Like nitrogen is -3, H4 is like +4, which will get like +1. Okay, so directly I have taken +1. Okay, so I think you all have studied how to remember a periodic table. In that, you have studied in alkali metal, it is group 1. In group 1, we can remember Alina ke Rab se Faryad na. I think you all have gone through that trick thing. Okay, so you can use this like here. Every time if you are taking any group 1 element, the oxidation number will be +1 for it. Okay, if you are taking group 2 element, group 2 element is like alkaline earth metal, it will be +2. Okay, you can remember it like be magaj ka sarbara. Okay, and also if you are taking anything like if you are taking halogens, okay, halogen is group 17 element. Group 17 element if you are taking, that is chlorine, bromine, iodine, 80. Okay, it will be always -1. Okay, and if you are taking chalcogens, which one? Oxygen family. Okay, oxygen is like usse tipo. Okay, yeah, this is like -2. Okay, yeah, Manvita is giving the correct answers. And if you are taking nitrogen family, that will be -3. Okay, in some case oxidation number also change. For that you have to check. Okay, no issue. So like this, some of the things you can remember, if you are seeing OH total charge is OH minus, we know total charge will be -1. Okay, so no need to calculate everything. You can remember some of the species oxidation number also. Nirixa in some condition, mainly in your D block element, we'll study about that. In D block element, they have different oxidation number. They have 2 to 3 different types of oxidation number. Okay, so now guys, I'm giving you one question. Try to find this out now. Cr2O7 2-. What will be the oxidation number of chromium? Find it out. What is the oxidation number of chromium? Swarup Praveen, correct. Nirixa, it is not correct. Dixit Kirtana, Chetan, it is not correct. Praveen, correct. Mahesh, Yasaswini, Susmita, Manbita, Arjun, Jayasri, not correct. Kritti, correct. Karthik, it is not correct. Lisa, correct. Nirixa, it is not correct. Nischit, correct. Arey, this is in a redox reaction. You all have studied na Cr2O7 2- and MnO4 MnO4-. I think you all have studied na potassium permanganate and potassium dichromate. Yeah, those who are telling +7, that is correct. So how to solve this? See, we don't know chromium, so I will take it as 2x. Okay, 7 into -2, because oxygen is -2. 7 into -2. Okay, and in the total charge here it is given -2. So here it will not be 0. Here it will be -2 because total charge is -2. Okay, now you can solve it. 2x minus 14 is equal to 7 into 14 minus 2. Okay. Achha, somewhere I have done mistake. Achha, here it is +6 na. So like those are telling 7, then it is wrong. 1 second. 2x minus 2 plus 14. It is 6. It is 6. Answer will got 6. So see, we have to calculate. We can't like imagine and tell the answer. Okay. So here also chromium oxidation state will be +6. Okay. So those who are telling +7 also, that is also wrong. Okay. That is also wrong. Yeah, Dipti, you can see in total charge it is given -2 na. Cr2O7, that is Cr2O7 2 minus, here it is given. So 2 minus is the total charge of Cr2O7. So definitely it will be equal to -7. Okay, because we know now it will form K2Cr2O7, that is like potassium dichromate. In this case also, if you calculate the oxidation number of chromium, you will get +6. You can check. Okay. Okay, one more I will now ask. MnO4 minus. Now tell me, what will be the oxidation number of MnO4 minus? MnO4 minus. Okay, this is the last, because we don't waste a lot of time on this oxidation number thing. Today we have to discuss experiment of battery also. Okay, I'm getting answers. Yeah, Praveen correct. Swaroop, you have to check. Arjun correct. Okay, I'm telling, I am not going to waste a lot of time. You can see X 4 into 2 minus 8 is equal to -1. Total charge above is -1. So X is equal to +7. Okay. So this is the answer, +7. Okay. So guys, those who don't know how to calculate oxidation number, please today go through it again. Go to redox reaction chapter. A lot of different compounds will given there. Just try to find out their oxidation number. Okay, you will get the idea how to solve this. -8, Dipti, what is the oxidation number of oxygen? -2, na? So 4 into -2, -8. X equal to X minus 8. 4 into -2, and the total charge above it is, you can see, minus. Okay, chalo. Here is another question, but we have less time, so this is your homework question. Okay, please try to solve this question. We'll discuss this in next class. Homework question. Okay, so here it is asking, one reaction is given and it is telling us to find out the coefficient, means what is the coefficient of MnO4 2 minus, it is asked. Okay, so try to solve this out. I will share the note, you can write it later also. Okay, so I'm moving to the next part, that is electrolyte. Okay, so in electrolyte, what is electrolyte? It is telling us that a solution that contains iron is called an electrolyte. Means if you are mixing NaCl in water. Yeah, Dipti, you have to balance that equation. Last question. Okay, NaCl in water. Okay, so in NaCl in water, what will happen? We'll get ions like Na plus Cl minus. Okay, so definitely if that contains iron, that means it will be a electrolyte. Okay, so basic definition: if any solution have ions or dissociation is happening, correct side, we can say breakdown also. If dissociation is happening, then it will be your electrolyte. Okay, next is electrode. Okay, this electrode is little really important. We have to understand now what is this electrode. So in electrode, what is happening? You can see surface at which oxidation or reduction takes place. Okay, means what is happening? You can see a diagram is given, and here we have taken metals. Okay, and in this metal surface, oxidation and reduction takes place. Those metals will be considered as electrode. Okay, so there are like two types of electrode. I will tell you one by one. First is your active electrode. Active electrode. Now, what is active electrode? I will write the definition. Okay, the electrode, correct, conductor, not like conductor Karthik, I am telling you what to write. The electrode in which the metal also participates in reaction, with giving its surface for the reduction, for the redox reaction is known as your active electrode. Means if that metal electrode which we have taken is also participating, is also reacting in its surface, then it is your active electrode. Example, you can say take any reactive metals like zinc, copper, magnesium, you can take aluminum also. Okay, so those who are like reactive, okay, and obviously they are giving their place also in their surface to do the redox reaction, that is known as your active electrode. Okay, another is inert electrode. Now tell me what will be inert electrode. What will be inert electrode? I am writing the definition, but you can mention in the chat what will be inert electrode. The electrode, correct, Manvita. Correct, Jayashree. The electrode which do not participate. Correct. I'm getting correct answers. Which do not participates. Example, please give examples. The electrode which do not participate in the reaction but provide surface for the reaction. Surface for the reaction. Yeah, Manvita is given the answer. So you can take any inert metal like yeah, those who are telling non-reactive metal, inert metal, that is non-metal we can't take na. We have to take metal, but which is not like reactive. You can take like platinum, okay. You can take nickel. Nickel is also not that much reactive. You can take gold, okay. These are like silver, sometimes it reacts, sometimes it not reacts. So we can take these three as the example of your inert electrode. Okay. So this is your electrodes. Okay. Yeah, palladium also good example. Chetan is giving palladium. Mercury we can't take na, Karthik. Mercury is like liquid metal. So we can't take it. We can take it with any other metal, but mercury is not a good example. Okay. So next is electrode potential. So electrode potential, now what it is? Okay, so electrode potential means potential difference between metal and electrolyte is called electrode potential. Okay, so this is like a little new concept. What is happening here? If you are taking a container, okay, and in that container what you are doing, I am taking one electrolyte. Okay, like consider that electrolyte is like I am taking ZnSO4, consider zinc sulfide. Okay, I am taking zinc sulfide, and in that we will take the electrode, metal electrode, that is zinc electrode we are taking. Okay. Now what is happening, if you take zinc electrode in ZnSO4, is there any change will happen? I will tell yes, there will be change will happen, and that change is which is happening, we can say that zinc will form, this zinc metal will form some Zn2 plus ions. Okay, and when it will form Zn2 plus ion, then what will happen? Definitely electron will be present in this surfaces now. Okay, now what is happening, when this zinc metal is giving Zn2 plus to the electrolyte, this electrolyte is becoming positive, okay, and this is becoming like negative. So guys, tell me, is there any interaction will happen between these two if it is becoming negative, this metal surface, and if this electrolyte is becoming positive? Is any interaction will happen? Okay, yeah, correct, Jayashree. Correct, Naina. So definitely, because this metal is negatively charged now due to presence of lot of electron, and because it contains positively charged Zn2 plus, so it is positive. Karthik, like this is actually condition when you are taking a electrolyte. See, ZnSO4, if you are taking, then you have to take zinc electrode only. If you are taking other, like if you are taking copper sulfate, then in that case you have to take copper electrode. So whenever any electrode which is present in its own electrolyte, in that condition, what will happen? That electrode will form cations in the electrolyte. You can see Zn2 plus. Okay, and in that case, this metal electrode contain will because now you see, if one electrode that contains like Zn2, Zn, zinc like this. Okay, consider it contains zinc like this. Okay, lot of zincs. Okay, and if you are removing zinc, Niriksha is telling not visible. Guys, is it not visible? My PPT is not visible or what? So if you remove zinc, guys, other also facing same issue. Niriksha once leave the class and again join. Maybe some issue from network issue will be there. Okay, so if you remove zinc from this, now guys think, from here I am removing Zn2 plus. Instead of zinc, I am removing Zn2 plus. That means what? Two electrons are now remaining after removing the zinc here. Okay, so when two electron is like remaining here, so what we can say, it will become negatively charged. Now the thing is that it contains electrons, it contains Zn2 plus, and the interaction which is happening between the electron and the Zn2 plus is your potential difference. Okay, and this potential difference between metal and electrolyte is called your electrode potential. Is it clear, guys? Is it clear up to this point? So simple, like this you have to remember whenever you are taking same metal in its own electrolyte. In that case, there will be interaction happen between the negatively charged like electrode and this positively charged electrolyte. And in that case, the interaction is known as your potential difference. Acha, okay, let me draw it. Okay, so we'll leave that last part, experiment of battery. We'll discuss that in next class. Okay, let me explain the electrode potential in a good manner. So now what is happening? You are taking zinc crystal. I think you all have studied solid state. There you have drawn like this zinc. Okay, like this. The crystal is like this. Okay, so I am like drawing it like this. You don't think like there is a gap. Okay, consider this is a crystal lattice I am drawing. Okay, it is connected like this. Okay, now the thing is that if we remove zinc from here as Zn2 plus, if I am taking Zn to Zn2 plus, okay, that means what? This zinc is removed as Zn2 plus, but two electron also removing in this case. Oxidation is happening in this case, loss of electron. That means when I remove two zinc from here, consider I remove two zinc, okay, in the form of Zn2 plus, okay. That means what? In this gaps, definitely this electron will stay. And when this electron is staying in this place, obviously 2 plus means 2 electron will stay here. Okay. So when in this crystal, these 2 electron are staying in that crystal, then what will happen? The crystal will become negatively charged. Crystal will become negatively charged. Now we know in defects it is not possible, but this is a condition when your Zn2 plus is removed. Okay, so crystal will become negatively charged, and when it is becoming negatively charged, this Zn2 plus in the aqueous solution will come close to it like this. Okay, it will come close, but it will not again participate in the crystal, but just come close due to the interaction between positive and negative charge. And this positive and negative charge interaction is known as your potential difference. I mean, the difference is there between positive and negative charge. And this potential difference in terms of your electrochemistry between this metal and this metal and the electrolyte is known as your electrode potential. Is it clear, Mahesh? Now, is it clear? If anyone have any doubt in this, please ask now. Is it clear, guys? Okay, is it clear? Okay, so like 3 experiment was there, but we will add this to next class. Okay, so this is like very good concept is there, which we'll discuss in next class. Okay, so guys, like if you understand today's class and if you don't have any doubt, you can write yo in the chat. If you have doubt, you can ask now. If you have doubt, you can ask now. Karthik, like all the experiment are interrelated. Okay, so that's why like we'll discuss that in next class. Okay. So I'm launching the teacher NPS poll, guys. Like everyone reply on the teacher NPS poll. Everyone reply on the teacher NPS poll. And those who have doubts now, okay, please ask now. Like this doubt part is really important. If you are getting any doubt, and go through this notes again. Okay, if you are getting any doubt, you can ask me directly in WhatsApp also. Okay. Yeah, Arjun, it electron will come to its place. You can see now the structure is like this. Here you can see that obviously electron will go like because we can remove Zn2 plus, but where will this electron will go? That is the condition na. We have to think where this electron will go. That is also important. Okay, so definitely we have to take this electron in the crystal like this lattice points. Acha, 1 second. Yeah, Karthik is telling electrode potential. 1 second. Okay, I will explain it. Electrode potential. Sir, any chapter and need to be go through before studying this chapter. Yeah, Niriksa, you can go. Like in next class, we are going to discuss about electrochemical cell. So go through it in NCERT book. Go through it. If even if you are not understanding, no need to worry because we are going to study that. Okay, but you can go through it. It will be very much helpful to you. Explain. Yeah, electrode potential we'll discuss. Yeah, Karthik. I think like most of the people are like not clear on this electrode potential. So guys, what is happening now? If you are taking electrolyte, sorry, electrode, okay. In this electrode, this is a zinc electrode. This is a zinc electrode, okay. So in this zinc electrode, when we dip it in the ZnSO4, what will happen? It will convert zinc to Zn2 plus, okay, and it will remove some of the Zn2 plus from this electrode. When it is removing Zn2 plus, what will happen? It contains electron also. So this two electron will stay in this surface of the electrode. Okay, it will stay like this in the surface because obviously it can't go to the solution. It can stay in the metal surface only. So now they are staying in the metal surface. Now what will happen? The now it is in the electrolyte, okay, and this electrolytes contain Zn2 plus, okay, Zn2 plus like this, Zn2 plus, and this Zn2 plus will do what? Because now after mixing with the electrolyte, now the electrolyte is becoming positively charged. Now what is happening? This electrode is negatively charged, this is negatively charged, the electrolyte is positively charged. And you can see because one part, this electrode is positive negatively charged, this is positively charged, then there will be interaction will happen between this negatively charged electrode and positively charged electrolyte. And this interaction between negatively charged and positively charged electrolyte is known as your electrode potential. And simply if I will tell you what is potential difference, we can say there is an interaction between this electron and this cation is happening. The interaction between this electron and cation is known as your we can say potential difference. Is it clear now, guys? Is it clear? See, Jayasri, if you take any other element, maybe full reaction will happen. Maybe it will collapse completely. If you take zinc in copper sulfate, what will happen? The zinc will like collapse completely. It will take the place of copper and it will become, instead of copper sulfate, it will become zinc sulfate now. Okay, so that's why we have to take same solution with same electrode. If you are taking any other electrode, maybe different reaction will happen. Okay, redox reaction will happen. Is it clear now, guys? Okay, so this concept will be important because this concept will use in your electrochemical cell. This concept, that's why, is very important. If we are getting potential difference here, this potential difference will help us to find the electricity in a chemical reaction. Okay, okay. With that, I think we should end the class here. So yeah, 50 people replied. Okay, so I'm ending the poll here then. Thank you guys for the participation, and we'll meet in the next class, guys. Okay, next class, go through electrochemical cell once, that will be like very much helpful to you. Go through like NCERT once, and if you are not understanding, also not issue, you can like read it completely. In next class again when we'll meet now, it will like little bit helpful to you also. Okay, so yeah, Arjun is telling colligative property. Arjun, like colligative property, which part you want? See, Arjun, in colligative property, what is happening? Very simple thing is that it contains, like we have four colligative property. Okay, first is your relative lowering of vapor pressure. In relative lowering of vapor pressure, simply you have to use the formula P naught minus Ps by P naught, which is equal to mole fraction of the solute. Okay, this is the first thing. Then is your elevation of boiling point. Elevation of boiling point is like del Tb is equal to kbm, kb into m. M is the molality, kb is the molar elevation constant or abeloscopic constant. Another is your depression in freezing point. Okay, depression is freezing point, what? Del Tf is equal to kf into m. Okay, this is another. Last is your osmotic pressure, and it is like your pi is equal to CRT. Okay, so after this, when Vent-Off factor is coming, any like compound is given, and with Vent-Off factor we can calculate. Then in that case, you have to multiply I to the right hand side. You can write colligative property. You have to multiply. You can write multiply I to the right hand side to RHS. Okay, so everything will be changed. Like you can write here I, and I. So this is your colligative property. No, yeah, like Arjun, Kf and Kb are like the constant. Okay, that is like one type of number we'll get. And definitely, if you're taking solvent, here it is telling us that colligative property is depending upon the amount of the non-volatile substance which you are taking. Okay, but if you are changing the solvent now, so definitely solvents, different solvent has different Kf and Kb value. Okay, so that's why in that case we can say that it is depending upon the nature of the solvent, this Kf and Kb. But this Kf and Kb, there is no relation with the non-volatile solute, like with the compound which are using as solute. Okay, so that is only the thing. Kf and Kb, that is like the constant thing. Okay, but if this M, if this molality is like if you are taking that nature of solid, if you are taking, then in that case we can say that will not be a colligative property, but we are just taking kb and kb as the constant, which is the constant of the solvent. Okay, Karthik, Vent-Off factor we have studied now, that whenever you are doing dissociation and association, like if I am giving example, Karthik, if you are taking NaCl, it can dissociate into Na plus Cl minus. That means you have to take the number of moles after dissociation. So it will become Na plus Cl minus. So that means 1 plus 1, 2. And NaCl initially the mole will be 1. So 2 by 1. The Vent-Off factor is 2. This Vent-Off factor is 2 when it is 100% dissociated. If it is not 100% dissociated, so you have to take the condition of alpha. Alpha is like the extent of reaction. So Karthik, for details you can do what? You can go through the notes. I have already set the notes about Vent-Off factor. Okay. If you are not getting the points, you can ask me again. No issue, you can ask me again. But go through that notes, you will get the idea. Okay. So is there any more doubt, guys? Is there any more doubts? If any doubts are there, you can ask also now, or else you can ask me in the next class, because I have another class at 5. So we have to end the session here. Okay, I think you all have also another class now, physics class you all have, I think. So guys, like be ready for the physics class. Okay, then bye everyone. Bye bye.